Hi everyone, welcome back to Tech Cravers. Today we're taking a look at the new TrimUI Smart Pro S, a handheld that on paper might not sound revolutionary, but in practice turns out to be way more interesting than you'd expect, especially considering the price. This is the updated version of the TrimUI Smart Pro that first showed up back in November 23. And with this revision, TrimUI has quietly polished a lot of rough edges. Better performance, better stability, and overall a much more refined experience. What makes this device stand out is that it sits right in that sweet spot. It's big, bright, widescreen display, solid controls, surprisingly capable emulation, and all of that at just $99.99 without including a game card. And in this video I'll be testing everything from NES and Game Boy all the way up to PS1, N64 and even PSP at 2x resolution, which is honestly impressive for a handheld in this price range. I also show a couple of PC ports like Celeste and Shredder's Revenge, which both run really well here. And yeah, I'll say it already, I absolutely love this yellow color, and overall I've been genuinely impressed by how fun and usable this thing is. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's start from the beginning. So this is the box that the TrimUI Smart Pro S comes in. Pretty minimal, clean and straight to the point. No unnecessary fluff here, just a clear picture of the device right on the front. Lifting the lid, the first thing you're greeted with is a small paper hardware overview card sitting right on the top. This gives you a quick rundown of the button layout, ports and basic controls, which is actually quite handy if you're new to TrimUI devices. Under that we have the handheld itself sitting snugly in the box. And once you lift the device out, underneath you'll find the rest of the contents. A small manual and a USB charging cable. And that's it. No screen protector, no extras, no SD card included, which honestly isn't surprising at this price point. It's a very straightforward unboxing, but everything you need to get started is here. Apart from the games of course, but more on that later. The review unit that was sent to me directly from TrimUIStore.com is this playful yellow variant, and I'll be honest right away, I absolutely love the color. It gives the Smart Pro S a lot of personality and it really stands out compared to the usual black or grey handhelds. In terms of overall feel, this actually comes across as solid and well built. It doesn't feel cheap, flimsy or like some generic budget device. There's a nice heft to it and everything feels properly assembled. One of the biggest complaints about the original Smart Pro S was the D-pad. It was low profile, very clicky and felt plasticky. And I'm happy to report that this has clearly been improved. The new D-pad feels much better across the board, and it's a huge upgrade for the kind of games this device is meant for. The analog sticks, however, are still on the small side. They're very compact and feel a bit plasticky, and while they work fine, they're not exactly comfortable for longer sessions. Hopefully adding some kind of stick grips could help here. That said, most of the games you'll realistically play on the Smart Pro S are D-pad focused, so for many people this won't be a deal breaker. The triggers are clicky and fairly basic. They're definitely not ideal for racing games or shooters, but again you have to ask yourself how many modern titles of that type you're actually going to play on a device like this. You also get RGB lighting around the analog sticks, which you can either love or turn off depending on your taste, but it's a fun little extra that adds some flair. Overall, while it's not perfect, the Smart Pro S feels like a thoughtful refinement over the original hardware, with meaningful improvements where it matters most. Alright, let's quickly run through the vital specs of the TrimUI Smart Pro so you know exactly what you're working with. First up, the CPU and GPU. The Smart Pro S is powered by an all-winner A523 processor clocked up to around 2 GHz paired with a Mali G57 GPU. And TrimUI touts about 2.5 times faster graphics performance compared to the original Smart Pro. This means noticeably smoother gameplay across classic platforms like PS1, PSP and more. Next is memory and storage. It comes with 1 GB of LPDDR4 RAM and 8 GB of built-in eMCC storage, which isn't huge but is typical for this price range, and you can expand that massively with a microSD card, often up to 1 TB depending on the card you use. The Smart Pro S sports a 4.96-inch IPS display at 1280 by 720 resolution with a classic 16:9 aspect ratio. For power, there's a 5000 mAh battery giving around 5 or 6 hours of gameplay on a charge, and it supports fast USB charging when needed. On the connectivity and extra side you get Wi-Fi including Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.4, so it's easy to connect controllers, multiplayer sessions or network features. There's also a 3.5mm headphone jack, built-in stereo speakers and even a single vibration motor. But one of the absolute most notable hardware upgrades over the older Smart Pro is cooling. Now there's a fan and dedicated vents, which helps keep performance stable during longer sessions. And the fan can also be controlled directly from the new TrimUI Home button on top of the device. From here you can adjust things like screen brightness, volume, RGB lighting and rumble, as well as monitor temperatures and CPU clock speeds in real time. It's a really nice quality of life addition that makes it easy to tweak performance or noise levels on the fly without digging through menus. Now, I've been testing a wide range of systems on the TrimUI Smart Pro S, starting all the way down at NES and Game Boy, moving through GBA and Mega Drive, and then up to PlayStation 1, N64 and PSP. And overall, I've been happy with the experience. Everything up to PS1 runs exactly as you'd expect, smooth, stable and completely hassle-free. These systems are a non-issue for the Smart Pro S. Moving up to N64, performance is generally very solid as well, most games run smoothly, but this is also where the small analog sticks start to matter a bit more. Since N64 and Dreamcast rely heavily on an analog input, comfort can take a hit during longer sessions. Not because of the performance, but purely because of the stick size. That said, from a raw performance standpoint, games run well. PSP is another strong point here. A lot of these titles run great at 2x resolution, which makes them look noticeably sharper than they did on the original hardware. And that widescreen display really helps PSP games shine. TrimUI also does a great job with quality of life features. At any time you can hit the dedicated TrimUI menu button to bring up emulator options, create save states instantly or jump back into your game exactly where you left off. And before we talk pricing and whether the Smart Pro S is actually worth it, I just want to quickly mention ports, because this handheld can also run some modern indie PC style games through tools like Portmaster. Two great examples are Celeste and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. These aren't emulated retro games, they are proper ports, so you can get modern visuals, tight controls and that native feel that you'd expect from the original releases. And this is where the 720p widescreen display really pays off. Celeste looks super crisp and TMNT just feels perfect on a handheld, especially for a quick pick up and play session. It's a really nice reminder that even though this is a budget device, it can still deliver some surprisingly modern experiences alongside all the classic systems. When it comes to pricing and availability, you can buy the TrimUI Smart Pro S directly from trimuistore.com, and it's available in a bunch of different colors. Yellow, red, green, black, white and that classic Nintendo style with the colorful buttons. If you're ordering it without a micro SD card, it's basically $100 before shipping, which is a really nice price for what you're getting, and you can also choose to bundle it with a micro SD card that comes preloaded with games. But the quality of those cards can be a hit or miss, and on top of that, it's a legal grey area to buy preloaded ROM cards in the first place. In my opinion, you're almost always better off using your own high quality micro SD card and your own game dumps. And if you need help with that, I've already got a video on the channel showing you how to dump your own games. So check that out after this one. But okay folks, that's been it for this brief look at the TrimUI Smart Pro S. Overall, I've genuinely enjoyed using it, the screen is great, performance is solid all the way up to PSP, the quality of life features are really nice, and at that $99.99 price tag it feels like a seriously strong contender in the budget handheld space. It's not perfect, the analog sticks are still on the small side and the triggers are pretty basic, but for the kind of retro gaming this device is built for, it does a lot right. And before I wrap things up, this is probably going to be my last video of the year, so I just want to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. Thank you so much guys for the support throughout the year, it really means a lot to me. Thanks for watching this video and I'll see you in the next one.